I feel like we're getting way off track because I haven't heard Aaron speak much in the last few minutes. So we got to get to some cussing now. So let's get into reviewing the most recent WWE pay per view. And I have to admit I didn't watch all of it, so I'm going to be relying on you guys to carry me through and let me know if it was as big of a dumpster fire as some people have said. So, Aaron, what was your overall take on No Mercy 2017 emanating from somewhere in the United States?
I wouldn't say it was so much a dumpster fire. It was just, I guess I had higher expectations for the show, and I think the show was just more average to me, especially the main event. I was expecting a whole lot more from the main event. It wasn't bad, but after SummerSlam, you would expect there, I guess, more fireworks, shall we say. What do you think, Mike?
I would definitely agree with that. Yeah. It was something to do, you know. There was. Well, did it go over? Did it seem? It seemed like it went over. It was about 3 hours or so.
It was roughly about 3 hours, but
yeah,
it was not. It wasn't an exciting show. I actually, going into it, I actually thought, it was too. It was a top-heavy show. You had two pretty big main events. I mean, two kind of WrestleMania caliber main events, and I mean, they were okay, but yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking over the card because I blocked most of it out of my mind. It seems like the only match that I really enjoyed was in the middle, and you probably already know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Yeah,
I'm assuming the tag match is what you were talking about.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, the Ambrose and Rollins taking on what is their name? The Bar, is that official?
That I'm not. I'm still calling them Sheamus and Cesaro just for simplicity.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay.
You want to go ahead and do a rundown, Will?
Yeah, let's take this thing match by match, and some of these matches will take a lot less time to discuss than the others. Of course, we start with the pre-show that happened, and to the surprise of no one, I'm sure, Elias defeated Apollo Crews with Titus O'Neil in a singles match in the pre-show. Aaron, I know you're a big fan of Elias. What did you think about this showing for the guy?
I like Elias. I'm glad he got a win, even if it is on the pre-show. And judging by Raw, I guess he's going to go into a program with Titus O'Neil now. We'll see how that goes. I like that they're not pushing the hell out of him already because he's still young. But I think he does have a bright future.
Mike, what's your take on Elias?
The only time I liked Elias, and I don't expect because you told me that you don't watch NXT, right, Aaron?
I watch it here and there.
Okay.
When I can, but I'm not a regular viewer of it, no. But please enlighten me.
Okay, sure. Well, the only time I liked Elias, they did an angle where he had a match where it was loser leaves NXT. So of course he lost because he was going to the main roster on Raw. And the next week, a new the angle lasted for 1 week, and the funny thing about it was that a new luchador showed up named El Vagabundo, and it was clearly Elias Sampson with the mask on, and he came out and he got so many cheers from the NXT crowd. NXT crowd, they're a smaller group of fans, and they're not there with their signs, to be seen on TV. They're there to watch wrestling, so they're going to pretty much tell you if you're over or not. And he had a match with Oni Lorcan, who was playing the face in this match, right? And let me tell you, whenever he unmasked El Vagabundo, that was the greatest heel turn / face turn since Steve Austin and Bret Hart at WrestleMania. The crowd instantly turned on Oni, and they totally were in support of Elias Sampson. That really was the only time that he has been interesting to me, and that includes Sunday night.
I was going to say about the NXT crowd. I have noticed it is, and other people made these comparisons, but they're like, they kind of remind you a little bit of the old ECW crowds. Not as rowdy per se, but passionate.
Yeah, yeah.
They're going to boo who they hate, and they're going to cheer who they like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I've said this before. When me and talked about it with Will, is I think you can see like Triple H's fingerprints on NXT more than you can on the main roster, because it's more simplistic. There's not a lot of there's not as much sports entertainment, shall we say. It's a lot more wrestling, which I enjoy.
Yeah, and and I'm totally down with that anytime. And I just like seeing. Actually, I'm pretty much done with the wrestlers once they get on the main roster. Sami Zayn, he was one of my favorites in NXT. Once he went to the main roster, I don't really watch the product enough, to cheer him or boo him. You know what I mean? I really just watch the pay-per-views just to keep in touch. But no,
Sammy's pretty much settled into his role as modern day Tito Santana, so which is not a bad thing. I mean, it's not a bad thing. He'll always have a job, but I mean, everybody was like, "Well, he should be pushed." I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like that you said he's the modern day Tito Santana, but said that that's not a bad thing, because that totally sounds like a bad thing to me.
Well, Tito kept a job for a long time, man.
Well, yeah, he did work for a while. Yeah, that's
true. He did work for a long time. I mean, I'm not saying he's El Matador Tito. I'm saying he's 80s Tito.
He's White Trunks Tito.
Yeah, the rock and wrestling Tito.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just pleased to know that Elias Sampson went the way of Stagger Lee and came back masked. That's great. You brought up an interesting point, Mike, and I was thinking about this the other day on my way to work, because I listen to music and zone out when I really should be thinking about more important things. But I often wonder, is it that people on NXT, is NXT like dooming the wrestlers by its own success? Because by the time they roll through NXT, you've seen sort of their shtick, and then they appear on the main roster to a huge pop and everyone's excited. Then immediately, for almost everyone, it kind of peters out almost within a month, and they're kind of just there. And I always wonder, like, are they overexposed before they ever get truly exposed on the main roster?
Yeah, that's a good point. Another thing I would say is that NXT is so stacked right now that it's really hard to because only one person could be pushed at the top. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like looking at NXT roster just today. Like I just watched NXT today, and people on the show: Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, Adam Cole. Who else? Drew McIntyre is on there. There's so many people that could be main event, but they can't do it. And that gets even worse whenever you get to the main roster, and there's no place for them. And so yeah, I mean, I could see it going both ways. I could see it as a good place to establish your trade, or establish your gimmick and all that, see what works and see what doesn't. But I don't know, the way they're buying up talent is just it's I don't know what the word is. Frustrating, maybe? I don't know.
Well, I was gonna say you listed off the old Ring of Honor roster. It's incredible. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, the main event for this evening's episode was Eric Young from TNA versus Adam Cole from Ring of Honor, and main eventing on NXT. So there you go.
That's the old Vince McMahon way. If you can't beat him, buy him.